So for many of you, you will be doing it at the kitchen table, I'm imagining. For me, I have a little table, like a little pop-up table. And my pop-up table is great. I have it in my shed. I have my folding chair and I sit down. But before I sit down, I prepare what I'm going to be needing. Because once you've got your Minipli there, that's where your focus is. You don't want to be bobbing off for everything. If it's had a wash, this is what I use. Just use the Beaudin, it's medicated shampoo. And the way I wash, right, so I would not just take his clip out and wash him as he is. Firstly, you need to pick every single bit out of his coat. And when I mean every single bit, I mean that. Because if you leave it in and you rub the coat, you will make a dreadlock. And we don't want to make a dreadlock. Sorry, blind as a bat. So, we've got all this first. So you start with the big bits. And you work your way. Gently. You can tell he's used to being picked out. So we're not going to just get the hairdryer and blow it and hope it all comes out. We visually have to take it all out. And what we have here on the Minipli as well, which we didn't have any pictures of, but they do have a little underskirt here. You see that? So that hasn't been chewed. That's a separate feature. That's its underskirt. And it goes all the way on the sides, right up to just before the chops. Okay? So that underskirt helps. It's a bit like the old Victorian petticoat, where it helped to poof the actual skirt out. And that's what this does. So, sometimes there's a knot in the coat. So this is the comb I use. It's a Triumph 252. And I would, if I needed to do it, I would hold it right at the root there. And then just do that until I could actually fiddle it out. So sometimes you actually need to do that on several areas of the coat just to make sure. So I hold it and I just do a quick flick like that. So it then becomes a little bit more frizzy, but you've made it clean. So you do that all over the coat. I then hold him, pop him under the tap, damp him down like that. Again, you're not scrubbing him because you don't want dreadlocks. So damp him down. Then I'd get my Beaudin, swirl it. Then I'd bring it up, rub it like that, rather than like that. Yeah? So it's like that. And then I rinse him again. I hold him firm. I don't let him float in the water. Some people do, and whatever they choose to do, that's absolutely fine. You will find your own way. I hold him like that and let the water come that way off the coat like that until it's all out. And then I go like that and I squeeze the end bit like that. And I wrap him in this nice big towel and I bring him back to here. And I keep him on a board because he doesn't mind sitting on a board. He's used to sitting on a board. So for him, it's a normal thing to sit on a board and have your hair done. So, bearing in mind this would then be very wet, I then use my curl tonic from L'Oreal. And they seem to have appeared to stop making it at the moment. So there's a few other curl conditioners that you can leave in. And you can just pick those up from Superdrug, Amazon, Boots, wherever it is you go. Home Bargains even have some. Just have a look at the curly range. You just want in the leave-in conditioner. And then I would lightly spray it. So that's a lightly spray, okay? We're not trying to drench the coat all over. Then I just go like that. And then I get my water bottle. And equally, I just spray him like that. Did I get you then? And then I just press it back again like that. And then I will start to dry it. So I found that if you don't put water on top of that, it doesn't work as well. It's almost like it needs the water to make it activate. I dry from bottom first. So it's on the lowest setting. It's not on the lowest heat though, it's on the medium heat. So I would dry him like that. And he's used to it. Okay, so once that's dry, I then move around to the sides, the other side, and then I go on the top. So this isn't a quick 2-minute job. Okay, sorting the Minipli coat out takes you a good hour for each pig because you've got a lot to be doing. You have to make sure all the little bits are out. You might even find some extras when you're drying it and you wonder where they came from, but they came all the same. So then I'd pop a little clip in him. When you think he's nearly dry, pop a little clip in, give him a break, pop him back, get some treats for him, something nice to eat like corn leaves or a bit of corn on the cob, beetroot, whatever, and just leave him. Go and do something else, come back a couple of hours later, take it out and repeat the drying process. Now, I know some of you are not drying your guinea pigs, you're just popping the clips in. You've got to find what works for you, okay? I'm just telling you how I do it because I think it works for me, but it doesn't mean to say that there isn't another way to do it that's equally as good. So that's that. Pop him back. Thank you very much. Now, I also at this stage make sure the nails are nice and short, and I also rub some aloe vera cream on their feet to keep them nice. And we check the ears, which really we should have done beforehand. But as he's a good 5 to 8, you can see the curl. I don't know if you can see his curly inside of his ears, but you'll be able to have time to look afterwards. So his are definitely curly. They're that curly that he's managed to take a piece of grass in with him in his ear. What's the other one like? Yeah, that's curly too. So you can feel it. It's a real fuzzy. You almost can feel the little curl in it by just touching the ear. And this particular guinea pig, I know you've seen that my Facebook profile or the picture behind, I don't know what that's actually called, but this is him. So these are his curls. These are the corkscrews we're talking about. They look like little tubules. And yeah, it does take a bit of effort to keep him like this, but I think the effort's worth it. He's a nice big pig, and he's just come with a little boar at the minute, but there we go. So this is my ungroomed under 5. And you can see that there is a dome shape to it. They've got 2 hip rosettes at the back, clearly seen on this pig because it's an under 5. So the hip rosettes are there. And the coat will naturally then, from the hip rosettes, go forward, and from underneath the hip rosettes, it will go down, okay? Because that's the natural way that the coat goes. And then you've got the nice little fringe developed there. So at this stage, the curls will stand erect. They will just go like that because that's how it is. And it's only by just growing a little bit and by the curls bringing the weight of the coat down, does it still goes that way, but could cause a rumpus here now. But when you've set your pig up and popped it how it should be, it still all goes forward. So it's like a layered effect because not all the hair comes from the same place. If you were drawing grid lines on it, it's like a little grid of curls. And those at the bottom will naturally hit the board before those at the top of the coat because that's just logic. I'm sure some scientist invented something that was about that, but So the hairs at the top are not, if you picked them up like that, they're similar. But this one appears longer because it's in a different place on the body. So it's not that it's too long, if that makes any sense. It's just that it sits in a different position on the guinea pig all the way around. And obviously the fringe is still there. If this was an alpaca now, this is a 5-to-8 board with a 5-to-8 pig on it. Okay? It isn't touching other than its belly and its undercoat and a few lower strands. And an alpaca's, the frontal would be down here, touching the board, and it would be then drawn round like that to go all the way around on the board. So it's definitely a shorter long-haired breed. I know some people have said it's a semi-long-haired breed. That name has never been something I produced. It was something that Brian Mayo, when they went from the assessment to the new and emerging, called them. I'm quite happy for them to sit with the long hairs. It's so slow growing, honestly. I'm not going to say it stops because that'd be stupid. It's like saying the hair on your head will stop when you reach 50. It's never going to do that. Of course it's going to grow. We've all experienced a pig that's had a really short coat. And it hasn't been a fluke. That's how we've bred them. And obviously, when you get a lot of litters, like myself and a few of the other breeders have, then we're able to select. And when we're selecting, we're taking that shorter coat, that slower one, the one with the really curly whiskers and the good belly, because we know, because we've been told and we've learned it ourselves that those are the ones to keep moving forward with your breed. And that's all we want to do, really, is move forward. So the other things I have out, I have this. This is amazing. If you've never tried it, you should have one. Carry it around with you in your handbag, because if you fall, graze your knee, stub your toe, get a splinter, this is it. Okay, it's for animals, but I wish I worked for Lucillin, but I don't. But it is, yeah, just spray it on. It's brilliant, honestly. So I have this because when you're at a show, you never know. There might be somebody that's brought something in and we don't want that, but we're discussing that after. So I just, that light misting that I do with my water bottle, I do a light misting of this as well, just to kill all known germs dead. So we're just going to look now at the guide to judging a Minipli. So you've got this in your little pouch. So I tend to talk about the under 5 in great detail because that's when you first got one out. The curl might not be as formed, and as consequence to it not being as formed, the judge just keeps telling us it needs more time. It needs more time. But if we don't show it in the under 5 class, it'll miss that section out of its life totally. It's not that it needs more time. We just need to educate the judge to judging the under 5 Minipli. So a lot of it is about touchy-feely with a Minipli. I'm just going to get her out for a minute. Okay, so when you're judging a coated breed, it's really good to close your eyes and not look at it and feel it, okay? And on an under 5, you can feel those little curls developing right at the root base. So if you were to part it, just so you could find a curl, you'd then say, oh yeah, it does actually have a few curls. But if you put your fingers in and actually feel it, you can feel those curls. And that's really important because that's telling us we're on the right way, we're moving forward. What you will feel is good density, good texture, and the overall shape that we want. We can't ask the under 5 to have a fully developed coat, because if it was an under 5 with a fully developed coat, imagine where it would be as an adult. It wouldn't be where we want it. And what we've had to actually describe is how we actually want it to look, which is the end product, which is an adult. So that's what we need to remember, that the under 5 will not look like an adult Minipli, because there is that age difference. There's that development required to process and move us all on a little bit. And we have to let the magic happen. The magic that is the Minipli. So, the 5 to 8, it'll still be that domey shape to it. There's no parting. The coat's all moving forward. Lots of lovely corkscrew curls forming, as we saw on Phoenix there. You'll then, as an adult, see that proper underskirt forming, which is frizzy. Okay? That isn't going to be the same type of curl that's on the rest of the guinea pig. It's a frizzy little net skirt. If you go back to the 50s, you know, when you were doing all that dancing and everything, then you had like a net skirt, didn't you, that fluffed out your skirt you were wearing. And that's what that little, it's frizzy. So we're also looking, obviously it needs 2 ears and 2 eyes as well, and a good head. So if they're not the best ears, but it's got the best curl, then I'd still be keeping it, because that's what you want. It's the curly coat, the short fringe, the no parting that makes the Minipli different to other long-haired coated breeds. So I don't use a hair curler, a wand, and I don't put them in rags or rollers. The whole coat is naturally just as it comes. And yes, some are better than others, but I think that's the same in any breed. There are some better than others, and that's why when judges judge, they put them in order, first, second and third. And third won't have been as good as the first place. And we need to remember that too.